Okay. This week should be the you're taking your midterm examination, right? This is for this week, and so our midterm presentation will take place at next week. Okay. So before I get into today's topic, I would like to spend some time explain what we're going to do in the midterm contest, right? Okay. I already told you that the midterm contest, we are using the Tafang grocery store data, right? Okay. So the objective of this midterm contest is we want to do a data-driven strategy planning. Okay? We are doing data-driven strategy planning, right? And that's what is all this course is about. It is about, right? Business analytic. Why we want to do analysis? Because we want to, via data exploration, we want to know our executive summary. And then based on this data, we want to make our marketing strategy, right? So next week I want every team to prepare 8 minutes video, okay? And in this 8-minute video, you want to present a few things, right? You want to present a few things. The first thing is your business analytics skill and your major finding, right? I already give you the fund 1, 2, 3, 4, right? I give you 4 kind of like notebook, right? And in this 4 book, we process the data, we explore the data, right? And starting from getting the ideas of the holistic view of the entire customer distribution, the area distribution, right? And then we look into their buying patterns, right? Which age group would tend to come to the store at which weekday, right? We know that which group they tend to buy which type of product, right? We know that which the customer group is generating more revenue, which area group is generating more profit, right? So you have the data, so you can actually explore more, right? For example, you might want to explore which group has the largest margin, right? Margin is more important, right? Because revenue itself did not create profit, right? You sell $100 of product, you may only earn $5, right? And you sell like $100 of this type of product, you might earn $30, right? So the margin could be like 5%, could be like 30%, right? Okay. So the notebook that I give you is actually give you some example and give you some code, so you can modify the code and do exploration on the data, and based on the finding of this analysis, right? In your video, you want to explain why do you want to use this analysis, and what is the major finding, right? Which is important to your marketing strategy, isn't it? Right? Okay. You do the analysis. You choose to analyze the data, and you want to find the impact for it. You want to find the insight. You want to find the insight which is has a big business implication, right? Okay. So that's the first thing. And then with this insight, you want to make a strategic planning, right? Okay. You need to use your, it's not only just programming and data processing. Business analytics, you need to blend two skills together, right? You have this data analysis skill, and you also want to have your domain knowledge. And in this case, we are doing marketing, right? So you want to use your marketing concept, right? The marketing, if you have learned marketing, you start with like STP, right? Segmentation, targeting, and positioning, right? So you want to set your focus, right? You choose a group of customer, and the most potential customer that can increase your performance, right? Increase your revenue, increase your profit, right? Okay, and you select this group of customer, and then you need to have an approach, right? From our analysis, we should know that this group of people, they like to buy which type of product, right? And in average, this group of people, how many revenue in average they generated, right? And how often they come to the stores, right? Now, of course, if we focus on this group of customer, we want to improve their revenue and profit contribution, right? How can we do that? You want to, right? You want to design maybe like promotion design or event. You might want to use some advertisement, right? Okay. So what type of product, in what you want to promote to this group of people, and then with what media you're going to use, right? You can do event, you can do discount, you can send the coupon, you can like do advertisement, whatever, right? And then you need to have a goal, right? A business plan, you need to say what, how, and so what, right? And the result. After I do this promotion and after I spend money on this marketing campaign, then how many percent of revenue will be increased, right? It will increase how many percent of revenue? It will increase how many percent of profit, isn't it? Right? That's the purpose of marketing, right? Otherwise, why should we do marketing? Because we want to like do this campaign and then improve our performance, isn't it? Right? That is our purpose. Okay. So what we mean by data-driven strategy planning is that by processing and analyzing the data, we know the performance of every different product category, every different customer group, right? So with that information, we want to use your marketing domain knowledge. You want to select the focus that you want to as your next season campaign target, right? So select the focus, design your approach, and then set your goal, right? So any question up to this point of time? Right? In 8 minutes, is 8 minutes enough? If it's not enough, I think you can like extend that to 10 minutes because we only have 4 groups. Okay, so but what you need to explain is this type of things. Okay, and because we are going to do the contest at December the 6th, so the data should be uploaded to this team folder, right? In this name, okay, in this name. You should have a video, right? Okay, and then you need to have a PPT, right? You are using PPT, otherwise you cannot do the video, right? And then if you use notebook, also upload your notebook, right? If you use notebook to do some, for example, you want to do some interactive chart, right? So you can also upload the notebook. And this is the time to upload. And the time of contest, okay? Basically, we will do cross-rating and we will have a prize, okay? So we only have 4 groups, right? I would like to give the prize now this is the first place, the second place, third, and the fourth. So everyone would get some prize, okay? Well, it's not much money, but it's kind of like symbolic. We also make you kind of like a certificate that for the result of contest for the prize winners. Okay. Now we are going to do a cross rating. Okay. So because we are making video, right? So I want every classmate to do a cross rating to the other groups. Okay. Now I'll give every team like 6 tokens, okay? Okay, and you want to kind of like rate the other group in 3 aspects, okay? The first aspect is their analytics technique, right? Like they will show you their how they process the data, or what analysis they do, and what is the finding that they find out, right? So first of all, you want to see that is this technique there. You want to see their like data processing skill. Right? After all, we spend a lot of time doing analysis, right? So you look into their data processing and data analytic technique, right? This is the first thing. You actually pick up 2 groups, right? Okay? You cannot vote to yourself, okay? If you vote to yourself, I will like, actually we have a program to like calculate your cross-rating, right? So you vote to yourself, it'll be, I will change the data to NA. So vote to yourself is not effective, okay? You need to vote, you need to choose 2 groups, right? Who do the best in an analysis, okay? And then the second rating criteria is the insight, right? You want to present your insight by visualization communication, isn't it, right? So plotting is important, right? And whatever possible, you should use the interactive graph to do your video, right? Because the finding need to communicate to your boss, right? Right? You want to make this marketing plan, and you want to, it's like you're presenting your marketing plan to your boss, right? put yourself in the position of marketing manager, right? So you're kind of making a marketing plan and presenting to your executives, isn't it, right? So in that case, this visual communication is very important. If you just analysis can give them a lot of table and data, it's not going to communicate well, right? So the second rating criteria is the insightful and impactful finding, right? Okay, you want to, now the finding cannot be so obvious that even you do not do the analysis, you can still, it's like common sense type of finding is no good, right? The best finding is like counterintuitive, right? And it's also important, right? So for example, you find a group which have a large potential. It might not be the group that perform well, right? But it has the potential to grow, right? That is what is important, right? Why? And then you need to tell the logic of your marketing plan, right? Why do you set the focus on this group, right? And why do you choose this campaign scheme to approach them, right? And you need to give a reasonable goal, right? What is their current performance, and then what is the improvement that you plan to do? Okay. Is that clear? Okay. So when you do the cross-rating, you basically choose two groups that do analysis well. Okay. Choose two groups to do the finding and communication well, and then you choose two groups who do the marketing planning well. Okay, is that clear? And besides the group, TA and myself, we will also do the writing. Okay, and then we after you do the presentation, we basically do the calculation in the program, right? So we'll know who win the first place, second place, okay? And then we'll send you the prize money, and TA will tell you how to get the prize money, okay? And get your certificate. Okay, now sometimes it happens, right? Because we are doing cross-rating, right? So sometimes we will have like maybe two teams in the first place and two teams in the second place, right? Sometimes it happens. Now, if even score occurred, the team that have the even score will split the prize. For example, if we have like two first place, then this $4,500 will split to the two teams. Okay, so each team will have $2,250. Okay, is that clear? Okay, so this is a rule, and this is what we are going to do next week. Any problem? No problem, right? Try to use the notebook that I have give you, and now in this course, I wish that I will put yourself into a kind of real business circumstances. Okay, I put yourself as to play the roles of a marketing manager, right? And now with this data analysis skill, now you can do a data-driven marketing planning strategy planning. Okay, So this is the midterm contest. Any problem? So far? So far so good, right? So you can do it, right? Okay, so actually today I'm going to do some more advanced it's actually also data exploration and data visualization, and I'm going to cover two kind of like advanced data analysis technique. The first one is called clustering, and the second one is called dimension reduction. Okay. And again, before I go through the technical detail, I want to give you an example. Okay. That's what we do our course. Okay. So today, if you go to the unit web page, you should see the material is here, right? So go to the material and download the zip file as you did. We did a lot of times already, right? So you should put it into your IB533 code, and then you will have this zip file, and you kind of like unzip this folder into your code folder, under your code folder, and after doing that, you should have after doing that in your code folder, you should have a folder called 08 clustering. Okay, and then you can go to your RStudio and go to IB533 code 08 clustering and kind of like set it to working directory. Okay, everyone here already? Anyone need more time? You're here, right? Okay, so you're following me. So, so first of all, I would like to take a look at the first case. Okay, let's take an example first, right? Before I starting to explain the mathematical and technique that we are using, right? Okay. Actually, we don't go into this algorithm. I just want to tell you how to use the R tool to do these two things, right? It's actually quite easy. Now let's take a look at the browser and take a look at our data first. Now in unit 8A, okay, I'm trying to introduce cluster analysis and dimension reduction with an example, a real business example. As usual, we load a few packages that we are going to do, right? This is a good time to load it because we are using some new package. So you want to like, if there's a yellow bar here, when you install, you should let it install the package, and then you want to execute the first block. Okay. There are some new packages, so it will take you a while if you, right? So let's just let it install and take a look at this data first. Now I'm using the data called wholesales.csv, okay? And then I kind of like, after loading in the data, I'll do some scaling of the data, okay? Now, this is actually data of a wholesales company, right? Because they are wholesale companies, so their customer is the retailer, okay? It's like 7-Eleven, like Family Mart, right? It's kind of like that, okay? So if we load in the data, now let's see this. Okay. If you load in and process the data, and then we will see that there is a data frame. I call it capital W, right? Because it's wholesale data, right? So there are 440 records, and each record is actually a retail store. Okay, each record is actually a retail store because it's a wholesale, so it sells product to the 7-Eleven. It sells product to Family Mart. So there are two different channels, right? In this 440 record, some of them belong to channel 2, and some of them belong to channel 1. Now channel 2, well, we can think it as like 7-Eleven, and channel 1, you can think it like Family Mart, that type of thing, okay? And there is a region. We have region 1, 2, 3. So you can think it as like Northern Taiwan, Central Taiwan, and Southern Taiwan. Okay? So this wholesaler has 440 customers, and they are retailer. And every retailer, they buy, this is product category, right? There are 6 different product category. Fresh food, right? Like fruit, like the eggs, right? That type of things, and also milk. It's not only milk. It should also include the milk product like cheese, right? Cream cheese, that type. Okay, so this category is grocery, right? And this category is frozen food, right? Like microwave dinner, that type of thing. And then this is detergent paper. I think this, it did not name it very well. It's kind of like tissue paper, like your cleaning tool, like cleaning material, that type of category. And then this is called deli. Well, you know what is deli? Deli is the thing that you can buy and eat it immediately, like the in Taiwan we have like 茶叶蛋, right? You know what is that, right? I don't know how to say it in English. We have like dumpling, right? And sweet potato, right? That type of thing that you can buy and eat it immediately. That thing is called deli, right? Okay. So that every one of this retailer, they actually buy a certain amount of this product, right? Okay. From this wholesaler, this is their selling amount for each record is a retailer, right? And as I say now, this retailer belong to 2 channels. They are located in 3 different regions, and this is the buying amount that they I already transformed this data. I will tell you why I want to transform the data later. Okay. Yeah. So this is the amount that they buy for each category. Okay. That's the data. Now with this data, we can say that we can see that the first thing, if you are a wholesaler, right, if you are a manager, now from time to time you want to like kind of like group your customer into a single group so that you can manage them easier, right? If you are a manager, you want to kind of like separate, categorize, or classify your employee in according to their similar behavior, right? Okay. In the case of Tafang, we actually kind of like we have do an analysis that we try to cluster the customer of similar behavior, right? The customer that like to buy similar product, we want to group them into the same group, right? There's a benefit of doing this, right? Because you know their preference, because you know their behavior, because their behavior are similar, so you can manage them like do a, you can design a specific scheme, right, to approach this group of customer, isn't it, right? Because their buying behavior is similar, so you can actually like design your marketing scheme easier. They like to buy the same thing. They tend to buy the same day, right? Right? They have this type of similarity, so you can like kind of capture their preference and design your marketing scheme to like approach them. It will be more effective, isn't it? Right? So clustering is about these things. What we mean by clustering is like now we go to in this case we have a lot of retailer, right? So I kind of want to like put the retailers who have the similar buying patterns together, right? So I know that in this group of retailer, they have the same preference, so I can maybe design a campaign to like approach them, so I can do a more effective management, right? So what we mean by clustering is when you have a lot of subjects to manage, right? You cannot like design a management scheme for every individual, right? So you try to like group the subject with similar behavior, okay? And you design specific for each group, right? It will be easier to manage, right? So this is what we mean by clustering, and the reason that we want to do cluster, right? So in this direction, right, you want to like separate the 440 retailer into several groups according to their similarity, Okay, that's what we are going to do. Okay, so let's. So far, it's already installed the package, so we can like load the data and take a look at how to do that. Okay, let's see the HTML file first. Okay, so clustering is we want to group similar subject for easier observation and easier management operation, right? That's the purpose of clustering. And then in this case, the subject is the retail store in each row, right? Okay. And when we say similarity, we want to look into the variables, right? We want to look into, for example, I want to put the retailer with similar buying patterns, right? And put them together, right? So this is what we call clustering variables. Okay. So each column is the sales amount, right? So from this normalized sales amounts, we want to like use this to cluster, to divide our retailer into different groups. Okay, and they actually I don't have the time to explain the detailed algorithm of clustering, right? But there are two different clustering methods that are often used in business, right? The first one is called hierarchical clustering, and the second one is called K-mean. Okay, and today I will like introduce how to do clustering, and K-mean is actually easier to do than hierarchical clustering. We already do that in the Tafang 4 notebook. Okay, you simply give it the data and tell the function. You call a function called K-mean and give the data and tell how many groups you want to divide, and then you get a group. Okay, so but the hierarchical clustering is a little bit more complicated. So I'll do more explanation on its hierarchical clustering. There are several steps to do hierarchical clustering. First of all, you want to like scale the variable, and then you calculate the distance between every subject, and then you call the hierarchical clustering function, and then you will do the hierarchical clustering for you. And then you can plot dendrogram. I'll explain that later. And then you cut the dendrogram, and then you get the clustering vector. Looks like a quite lengthy process. Okay, but before we go to this step, let's take a look at our slides. Okay, take a look at the slides. Now, I just say that we want to group the subject into according to their similarity, right? But what do we mean by similarity mathematically? Okay, that is the question, right? Now, usually when we do the clustering, the first thing is we want to map the variable into dimension, okay? Because we want to look into the similarity of these variables, right? Now, let's start with a simpler example. For example, if I only have two variables, x1 and x2, okay? So I can kind of like map, now every point is actually a subject, Okay, every point here is actually a subject, and then you actually want to map. But every subject has an x1 and has an x2 value, right? So if you map every subject into a space, okay, if you have two variables, it's a two-dimensional space, okay? And so variable can map into dimension, and therefore all of the subject can, according to their variable, they can be mapped into a multi-dimension space, isn't it? Right? And we can use the distance, right? If for example, if this 5 point, right, this 5 point is they have a similar x1 and x2, right? So their distance in that high dimensional space is shorter, right? So in clustering, no matter which type of clustering you are doing, what it actually do is actually, first of all, they map the value of the variable that into a high dimensional space, okay? So that every subject that we want to do the grouping is kind of like a point within that space, okay? And the next thing we do is like we treat the distance as difference, right? And the point that are closer to each other in that space can be, it means that the variables are similar, right? Isn't it? Right? So we simply like use an algorithm to find out, to divide this subject so that they're now within the group we want to like kind of like reduce the distance, right? And between the groups we want to increase the distance, right? So there's a mathematical algorithm, right? As long as you map the variable into a space, right? And then you can kind of like in this multi-dimensional space, because you can have a lot of variable, right? You can have a lot of variable. So when you map that subject into this multi-dimensional space, you kind of use the distance between each point, right? To you will have a mathematical algorithm so that you can group the subject that is closer in this multi-dimensional space, right? That's why they call it clustering, right? When you map using the variable, when you map that subject into this multi-dimensional space, the similar subject tend to cluster, right? Into one cluster after another. And there's a mathematical algorithm that kind of like reduce the distance within the group and increase the distance between the groups. And with that algorithm, it can automatically help us to divide the subject with similar characteristic, right? With similar characteristic into different groups. Okay, and that is basically the logic behind clustering. Okay, I don't have time to explain this mathematical thing, and we don't need to do that, okay? But the thing that we need to understand is like, why we want to do cluster. Because the subject with the similar behavior should be managed in a similar scheme, right? So similar customer that have the similar preference can be marketing with the same marketing scheme, right? Isn't it? Right? So that's why we want to do cluster. And how do we do the clustering? Actually, we map every subject into high-dimensional space. And in that space, we have a mathematical algorithm to help us find the subject that cluster together, okay? And then that's how we do the clustering, okay? So this is why we want to do clustering and how it is done. The detailed mathematical algorithm is not important because in R, we already have the tool to do that, okay? Now it's already 10 o'clock. Let's take a break and resume the class at 10 after 10, okay? For those who come late, I will suggest you to take a look at, because in the beginning of the class, I already explained what we want to do in the next week's midterm contest, right? So take a look at the video recording.